I'm not even mad at the ladies right now. The way they coming at Quad, not mad at all. All I gotta say is, I wonder where Mariah is right now and what she's thinking about this. Karma's a bitch, ain't it, Quad? Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up and hello? This is the Chris Nicole giving you my views on life, love, and the world of entertainment through my eyes. And this is my review on Married to Medicine, Season 10, Episode 6, Wine Country. So Toya meets with Dr. Simone, Jackie, and Heavenly, and she is talking about their upcoming Napa trip and how she feels there's no point of Quad coming because one, it's strictly a business trip. And two, she wants the people that she's working with to see them in a positive light. And when Quad comes around, unfortunately, it ain't positive. So Toya says she's tried to be a friend to Quad on many occasions, but every time she thinks things are good, Quad is always clowning Toya, just doing shady stuff. And it's always at the expense of Toya, which is true. Unfortunately, though, Toya, she's not the only one who has done that to you. And I think she realizes that. But Quad is the only one that's on the outs with the group right now. So, but she says, look, she's kind of over it at this point. And so I would have to agree because I will say this, a lot of them have come at Toya, especially Heavenly. But again, I haven't been a faithful watcher, but I will say that Quad, like I have said before, she takes things to a malicious, vindictive level. Like to claim that people are allegedly thieves, and you have a man who is a doctor who has a profession. She even said at one point that Mariah was on drugs allegedly. She has kids. Her man is a doctor. Like there is an evil side to Quad where she tries to destroy people, which to me, I don't see how anyone can trust her at all as a friend, at least. I don't see how they could trust her because we can clearly see where she takes things. So I would have to agree with Toya. Like after you accuse me and my husband of being thieves, and my husband he's a doctor. He is a medical professional. You guys are on national TV. To take it there, like Quad operates like she doesn't have anything to lose. And honestly, she really doesn't. These men and these women who are married to these men, they have a lot to lose. But moving on. So Heavenly says that she has been a friend to Quad. And, it just seems like every time Quad gets a new circle of friends or a new friend, she pushes other people to the side. And baby, I have been there before. Honestly, friends who are only friends out of convenience, they're no friends at all. And unfortunately, I think sometimes we as people try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but you got to look at their actions. And from my understanding, Quad was like that when the sister circle was on air or wherever the sister circle was playing. I never watched it, but when she got that gig on the sister circle, apparently that's when they said a lot of this stuff started to shift. So Quad is an opportunist. Like at the end of the day, she is going to align herself with people that's going to help her and advance her. That's the way she comes across, in my opinion. But with that, Toya actually says, you know what? Even though that creepy funeral event was pointless because she didn't apologize and she had no accountability, we'll just give her one more time at this Napa trip to see if she's willing to have some type of accountability and the opportunity to be back in the Married to Medicine sister circle again. So they all agree to that. So next we see Heavenly and Alora is covered up. in this, I don't know, blanket or whatever, but I saw that she had on orange pants. So immediately I knew she was rocking her FAMU gear. And so at that point, she busts out with her FAMU gear and she shows her mom that she got accepted into FAMU. And, Heavenly is just like, okay, fine. I wanted you to stay here, but you can go. Honestly, I think this whole storyline with Laura was at this point, seeing this scene, it was just all for show. I think she always planned on going to FAMU. I just think that that was just their way of kind of, having a cute little scene with Laura before she goes to FAMU. And she's going to FAMU and she's going to be a biology major. Apparently, Heavenly was a biology major too. So congrats to Laura. FAMU and biology. We don't have a lot of people who look like us in the science field and math field. So kudos to you, girl. Congrats. So Dr. Simone and Cecil are looking to buy a condo for their boys. And the condo that they actually showed does look nice. And one thing that she said that threw me off is that she said, Michael, I think that's the youngest boy, Michael. She said, look, Michael, this is a washer and dryer, something you've never used before. And I was like, oh gosh, like he's in college. What do you mean he's never used a washer and dryer? Then they mentioned that he needs to be in the room where there's a patio where he can air out his room because it smells like wet clothes. And I'm like, oh gosh, like y'all kind of exposing some things that I don't think anybody should know. Like, does he not keep himself clean? Like, how are you in college and you don't wash your clothes? I'm confused. But anywho, Dr. Simone says she has a contract for the boys. No overnight guests more than 2 days. Otherwise, she got to pay rent. And also, she tells Miles he has 1 year of rent for free. It's rent free for 1 year. And for Michael, it's 2 years. And they're laughing. The boys are laughing. And they kind of like, okay, well, if all else fails, we can move back in with you. And Simone is like, hell no. And Simone gives them this look. Let me tell y'all something. I have a feeling Simone, when them cameras is off and when she disciplined her boys, she whoop ass. Because the way she be looking at them sometimes, you can tell. And she do it when the cameras are there. I can't even imagine. Simone seemed like a no-nonsense type of woman, and I'm here for it. I am so here for it. So at that point, it's a cute little scene, but I guess she's going to buy the condo for them so they can have a place to stay, and hopefully they can graduate, especially you, Miles, especially you. You definitely need to graduate at this point. So the girls are on their way to Napa, and we find out that Sweet Tea, this is her first time in California. And Simone's like, oh my gosh. And Toya's like, oh my gosh. Like, we were able to experience like 2 new things for you. Like, we were able to go to your wedding, and this is your first time in California. And then, of course, Dr. Heavenly has to be the hater, or better yet, not even the hater. She has to click on and be Dr. Heavenly for TV. And she interrupts the celebration and talks about the actual wedding situation again. And I'm just like, you know what? It almost seems like in that moment when I was watching Dr. Heavenly that you can tell when she turns it on and off for the camera. It was like she wanted that moment. It was like, let me hurry up and get into that moment so I can cause controversy, so I can make sure I'm doing my part on the show. That's the way that it came off. But Sweet Tea was just like, she was like, look, I wanted to be there for your wedding. That's what Heavenly said. And Sweet Tea's like, look, no, you didn't, because you was talking mess about it. And even Toya and Simone is like, do we have to do this right now? And so Heavenly's like, well, you 30, he 54, he 54, 55. Like, that ain't gonna work with this grown man and this little girl. Why is that any of your business? Again, why is that any of your business? But she apologizes to Sweet Tea. I guess if that's an apology, she apologized to Sweet Tea after digging in her again about the age gap and all of that stuff. But she apologizes saying, if I hurt you, that means that I did hurt you. So I apologize. Do y'all believe that apology? Let's put a bet on it. By the next episode, she gonna dig in Sweet Tea again. But moving on. So then they get to their hotel, and it is very nice. And Simone is going to Toya and she's like, well, where are you putting Quad? And Toya's like, oh, I didn't get her a room. Like, I didn't know she was actually gonna come. And so at this point, no one wants to room with Quad. Simone and Toya are in a suite together. Jackie and Heavenly are in a suite together. And then all of the new girls have separate rooms. You know, Sweet Tea and Quad ain't rooming together. And even Phaedra, all of them was like, hell no. So Alicia, the new girl, decides that she's willing to share a room with Quad. So during their massages, Sweet Tea lets the ladies know that she told her husband, Dr. G, about what Heavenly said. And so Toya was like, well, why would you tell him that? And she was like, I told him that because, shoot, that's his dentist. And I was like, oh, wow, Dr. Heavenly, Dr. G actually goes to Dr. Heavenly to get, his teeth fixed and cleaned. And Toya said the same thing in her confessional, like, wait a minute, he actually goes to her. And I'm sure she has a very successful business, but we don't really see Dr. Heavenly with the whole dentistry and showing like she's actually doing her job anymore. Like in the beginning of this episode, we saw that she had her mask on, like she was about to do something, but Dr. Heavenly is more about just being the antagonist of the show more so than about her profession at this point. So yeah, I kind of laughed at that too. And when Toya said the same thing, I was like, okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking it. Like, I can't believe Dr. G goes to Dr. Heavenly. But moving on. So Quad Child gets to Napa and she knocks on the door. Sweet Tea opens up the door and Quad enters the room. She says hello to Sweet Tea, but if y'all look at that part again, she says hello to her, but she doesn't make eye contact. She just walks past her almost like she doesn't exist. Like, if y'all see the way she walked past her, it was like she's irrelevant. Like, she was even trying to shade her walking in the room. And I was like, you know what, Quad? Like, again, you claim to not be bothered, but you seem really bothered by Sweet Tea. Like, you couldn't even give her a proper greeting, like, make eye contact, hell, hug her, but you just so shady. So Quad is coming with her BS and her fakeness, even with the other ladies in the room with Toya and Simone. And she was like, oh, I can get my own room. I ain't got no problem getting my own room. And Toya is like, well, we didn't know you were coming, but I ended up getting you a room. And she's like, well, Toya, you sure this room ain't in the basement or something like that? Like, you sure it's not in the field somewhere? And Simone is like, do you really think Toya would do that to you? And Quad doesn't say anything. And honestly, if Toya did do something like that, she had every right to. But she didn't. She actually got her a room. And then Quad says in her confessional that at the creepy funeral event, because I refuse to call it what they were calling it, at the creepy funeral event, everyone was cool except for Toya. Quad, clearly you don't know how to read a room. Like, you don't know how to read a room. You are so self-absorbed. You are all about yourself. You don't know how to read a room. No one was cool with you. No one was cool with you. They just kept it peaceful, but no one was cool with you. So then when Quad leaves the room, Toya talks to Simone and is like, how do y'all do this fake BS where you smile in people's faces and talk behind their back? Well, Toya, here's the thing. There's this thing called adulting where you learn to be cordial, but you don't trust a heifer. And that's what Simone was trying to tell you. Like, she's being cordial. She's, you guys have no choice but to be around each other. You're on a show. She's being cordial. But with Simone, she don't trust Quad. So she's just adulting. That's all she's doing. Like, she's not going to sit up there and ignore the girl, even though she's in the room. I mean, we know Quad would do something like that, but that's not how Dr. Simone operates. So next we have Phaedra and Jackie, and they show up, and Phaedra claims that she thought her flight was later. She had to take care of her baby. But Toya is calling BS and saying that the real tea seems like Phaedra didn't want to affiliate herself with Quad, so she didn't want to travel with Quad and come to Napa with Quad. So the thing is that Quad is not useful to Phaedra anymore because she clearly knows that Quad is about to get booted off of this show. And allegedly, apparently, Quad is only going to be on 2 more episodes. And I think this is one of the episodes. So I think we may only see her in another episode. They may be booting her off. The girls may be saying, we don't want you a part of this group anymore. And of course, she's on social media, apparently complaining about it, going back and forth with fans. Quad is done. Quad is done. It's just, it is what it is. But moving on. So it's dinner time and everyone is sharing great news. Dr. Jackie got a direct line to the Vice President of the United States. And then Quad shows up and the whole energy shifts. All right. The whole energy at the table completely makes a change. And so Quad tries to say that she is very proud of Toya and blah, blah, blah BS. And so Dr. Simone, which I love, goes into her classy gangster. She's the classy gangster out of the bunch. And she's like, I think we need to address your status with the group overall, especially with the OGs, before you get booted off this damn show. And so Quad is like, well, I could have done better, but there were times where I didn't feel safe to tell y'all certain things. And child, when she said that, I rolled my eyes. And before I can finish rolling my eyes, I heard Dr. Simone say, Quad, stop playing the victim. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Like, it is always, she is the victim in every situation. And Simone is like, we all wish we could have been there or done something better, but we didn't switch up like you. And if you feel that you can't be safe around us or you feel like we are not supportive, then why keep coming around? Why keep coming around? Well, I'll tell you why, Simone. Because that show, The Sister Circle, is gone. Quad isn't a doctor. She was married to medicine, but she isn't anymore. Quad needs the money to keep coming in. And so this show was her bread and butter. And none of her other bread and butters really were successful or stayed successful. So at this point, yeah, she's using you guys to try to stay on the show. That's just what it is. And I think they realize that, especially Dr. Heavenly, because Dr. Heavenly comes up and she's like, I think you're using me, bitch. I think you're using me. When Phaedra put you down, meaning she didn't want to deal with you anymore, then I randomly get a call from you and I hadn't heard from you. And one thing I will say about Dr. Heavenly, even though she annoys me to no end with how she treats people at times, when she's right, she's right. She pretty much says, look, you're using me, you trying to play the sister stuff, but you using me because at the end of the day, who else do you have? And that's the problem. Everyone else in this group has a tight friendship with someone, at least when it comes to the OGs. Dr. Heavenly and Jackie, they are clearly friends. Now, Dr. Heavenly will throw everybody else under the bus, but when it comes to Dr. Jackie, that is her close friend. Dr. Simone is close friends with Toya and Jackie. So all of the OGs, they have genuine friendships with each other. The only one who's on the outs is Quad. Phaedra is new, Sweet Tea is new, but at least Sweet Tea has a relationship with Toya and Simone, so she can stay. Now, Phaedra may get the boot too, because I don't really see the point of her being on the show. She hasn't really brought it, in my opinion, on the show. It just, and then not to mention, she's apparently supposed to be dating a doctor. Where's this doctor? Like, where is the doctor? Like, we don't see the doctor at all whatsoever. We can't even get a blurred face of them kissing or hugging up on each other. Where is this so-called doctor? So as far as I see it, Phaedra can go too. But when it comes to Quad, for her to be an OG the first season and she has no tight relationship with anyone, yeah, she probably went to Dr. Heavenly as the last resort, hoping that Dr. Heavenly would take the bait. But Dr. Heavenly ain't going for it no more. she's not going for it anymore. So at that point, child, Dr. Heavenly just again start throwing people under the bus. She exposed that Phaedra changed her flight because she didn't want to ride with Quad. She said Dr. Jackie told her that Quad was using her. Then, child, she spilled the beans and say that Quad told her about Phaedra dating Dr. G. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And so at that point, Dr. Heavenly's like, you better spill it. You better tell it because you sat up there and told me that Phaedra and Dr. G was dating. And Phaedra said that she didn't date Dr. G. So then Quad at that point said, well, Dr. G told me that you guys were dating and how when you were dating, you asked for $4,000 a month. And when you started asking for money like that, he just pretty much left you alone. So at that point, Phaedra in the confessional was like, my purse cost $10,000. What I'm gonna do with $4,000? A lot. Don't act like you turning up your nose to an extra $4,000 a month. Like, stop your BS. So at that point, Phaedra's like, Sweet Tea, did Dr. G tell you anything like that? And Sweet Tea's like, no, he told me you guys went on a date, but that's about it. And so at that point, Dr. Simone is just kind of looking like, I'm over you, heifer, Quad, and Heavenly is still going in, and then Quad and her start going back and forth, and then all you hear is bleep, 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 because they cussing and fussing back and forth, and then next thing you know, the episode goes off. And then the next episode, we're going to see them have a final sit down with Quad. I have a feeling they're going to tell her, bye, bitch, bye. And let me just say it now. Bye, Quad. I mean, you've already said you're only on 2 more episodes. But my thing is look, it's a boomerang, baby. It's your boomerang. It came back to you. You did all of that with Mariah. You tried to destroy that girl. You wanted to make sure that all the women and everyone knew that she was a horrible person, apparently, and you wanted her off the show, a show that she created. Okay? And look at you now. Now the tables have turned, and these same women that you try to get together to get Mariah off the show, now they want you off the show. See? Got to be mindful. The energy you put out there eventually comes back to you. So I don't feel bad for Quad. I don't. I don't feel bad for her. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you try to stop a lot of people's bags, and you actually did stop one person's bag on this show. So now your bag probably about to get stopped, boo. At least for this show. So with that being said, you guys, what did you think about this episode? It was a decent episode. I mean, it wasn't like juicy, so I would say I would give it like a solid C. But let me know what you think. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you on my next video. Toodles.